Hello, and welcome to Stop, Let's Team Up, episode 56. We are back to Danger Street and first issue specials, and this is episode 3 of that, so we'll be covering Danger Street number 3 by Mr. Kings, Fornes, and Stewart, and we will be doing a Metamorpho story by the amazing Romana Fraden, written by the more than zany Hany, Bob Hany. So looking forward to that. But let's get started with Danger Street 3. It came out a couple weeks ago. I'm just getting to it, busy schedule, work, and playing catch up, and I'm still recovering from starting Opal City Confidential. But let's do this. Came in. It's got a wonderful 4-day cover. I got the dark side cover. There is a Romana Fraden Metamorpho variant, which is quite nice too. But it's dark side on the cover. It's got a white background. Some great text, some lettering that looks like flames coming up by Darkseid's throne that says Book 3 Metamorpho. Very cool. And the design of the cover with like the circuit board of his throne in this 4-color palette is amazing. It's a really great cover. It is Danger Street 3, Book 3, Chapter 3, Metamorpho by Tom King, Jorge Fornes, artist and cover artist. Dave Stewart is colorist. Clayton Cowles is the letterer, and Ramona Fraden and Evan Doc Shiner have a variant cover. I'm going to have to dig up Doc Shanner's cover because I like his work too. Editor Brittany Holzer. And it's just, let me give you what there's no synopsis that I can steal because, but I don't think they need one. Here is what it says in the DC's release. The repercussions of Atlas the Great's death plays out worlds away as 2 old enemies become allies in the fight to save the multiverse. Meanwhile, Lady Cop continues her search for Good-Looks Killer, the disgraced hero Starman. Little does she know the fugitive is on his way to the City of Angels to make a deal with the devil. Will his sacrifice be enough to set things right? So this issue starts back up with our narrator, which is the Helmet of Fate. And his only line is... it's not early. It starts with, our story continues. The princess, well on her way in virtuous quest, decided to consult an oracle to help her find the men who brought evil and death to her kingdom. And then that's 2 panels. And then this one panel is Doc Facehead, and the next one is it's Google. And Google is something's being typed slowly over the next 8 panels that starts with BL, and it ultimately becomes Blue Superheroes. And then we cut to Lady Cop. She's the chief there. She's in the police station. And she's scanning people's pictures. And it's like that she's confused that the printer only prints in black and white. There's no blue toner. So she can't figure it out. But she's using Google. And she's downloading pictures of blue superheroes so she can figure out who the killer was. And then we cut through to Metron flying through space in his chair, in the Mobius chair. Waxing philosophical as Metron will do. And he lands in a throne room where Highfather and Darkseid are sitting. And Highfather's, Metron, enough. This is not the time for cute preambles. The sky has fallen. Get on with it. And then Metron goes, tasked with finding a solution for an unsolvable problem, I delved into the delirious heart of the riddle risking. And then Darkseid comes in. Metron, I would enjoy killing you. Metron kind of looks sour. And then we cut to him saying that he shows he's gone to the 4th wall and he's gone through it to the other side. I want to say that the single-page spread of Metron facing Highfather before we see Highfather and Darkseid on the opposite page is a beautiful Kirby-esque New Gods image. Absolutely stunning art by Mr. Fornes and colors by Stewart. It's great. The Force Wall looks great. The Source Wall, not the Force Wall. The Source Wall looks great as always. And when Metron goes through, he explains his journey. I hear the screams of 3 generations of dead gods. They presumed their own infantitude, and their destruction was upon them. Such a cornucopia of pain and power would drive anyone mad, and so it did me. And in that mist of madness, I heard a voice, 1,000 voices, billion more, stretching back from creation to the last. Atlas the Great is dead. His burden has been passed on. There is still no one who can hold up the sky. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There is still someone who can hold up the sky. And Metron just says Earth. And it's a nice little scene. It's really pretty. The art in this is amazing. The more I see his art, the more I love it. I like his panel layouts. It's a very, I don't want to say simple style, but it's clean, what I would consider a very clean style. But when he wants to make it busy and bigger, he does, and it works great. Then we cut to Michael and Travis Morgan, Starman and Warlord, in a hotel talking about what are they going to do. Travis says he's going to go underground because he's going to go back to Skataris Skataris. All the while they're talking about the coffee that tastes like pee, but they're contemplating what they're going to do next. Are they going to go in hiding, or are they going to go do something else? Which we will find out later what they do. And then we cut back to the kids, the dingbats, and they're all still mourning Good Looks' death. And just the three of them the three survivors they're a little out of sorts. And they're swimming in this pool, and you think it's like the community pool, and you find out, no, it's some neighbor's pool, and they have to go humping over the fence. And it's just pretty funny. And then we cut back to Manhunter. He is about to kill someone else in his list of people, and it's one of the billionaires, the boy billionaires, and codename Assassin figures it out and keeps the kid back, and the kid thinks is it the outsiders, and then the kid hears a bang, and the bullet stops just in front of codename Assassin's face. He then uses his ability to levitate. He fires his gun. He shatters the window, I guess, when he fired at Manhunter, but Manhunter gets away. And then we cut back to Lady Cop showing 7 pictures of people to a gas station attendant out in the desert to try to find Starman. It's great because you got Blue Devil. Nope. Blue Beetle. No, sorry. A Blue Lantern, which I'm going to have to read that at some point. No, and then the Ray Palmer Atom, and it's like, no, that's the Atom from Justice League. It wasn't a blue costume. He had blue skin. And they showed the new Blue Beetle, the Electric Blue Man, and then Michael Thomas, the Disco Starman. And the guy points him out. And Lady Cop, the good guy. There's just a thing with Lady Cop's taken aback by a little bit what the gas station attendant says. Why is it always the good guys? And then we come back to, I guess they're on Apocalypse. And they're trying to figure out who's the person who could take over for Atlas. Highfather brings up Scott Free or Barda. Scott can run, hide, and fight. Calabac, maybe not. They bring up Mantris. Metron is neutral. They're trying to figure someone. There's only one, and they come to the thing then where they agree there's only one choice. No, there is only one choice, and we can hope you haven't spoiled it. Indeed, I will have to make contact, and it's of course it's Orion, who's Darkseid's son, who was raised by Highfather, and he is beating one of his enemies' faces in the ground. I forget this guy. It's the guy that looks like one of the 3 Musketeers, and Orion's having fun, bashing his face into the ground when he gets the message. Then we're back to New York City, and there is the Creeper jumping from, it's 3 panels, the American flag hanging from a building. Then all of a sudden, Creeper's on it. He's talking to his agent. He jumps off it. We go back to main boy millionaire is polishing Metamorpho's arm, and having a conversation with codename Assassin. And then the movie guy, Mr. Sunbeam, the young millionaire who owns a movie studio, he has hired Warlord and Starman to be action heroes in a movie. Then we cut to Lady Cop interviewing non-fat from the Dingbats, and he's come there, he's soaking wet, and she's asking, and then she shows him the picture of Starman, and the response is, "What the cuss?" He doesn't think they found it. And it cuts. The last panel is one of those 9 panel setups. You got Lady Cop, you got non-fat, you got Jack Creeper in his Jack Ryder in his on TV, codename Assassin, a wounded manhunter. The boy millionaire movie producer now has the sword, has the Warlord sword. Starman has Fate's helmet in his hand, it looks like. Orion, he looks crazy. And then the helmet says, and isn't that, there's some narration here. Well, no, let's not do that. It's just, and Fate makes a concern. I'm just not going to give it away. Little spoilers, I guess. I've just gone through the whole comic, but this was a good issue. I enjoyed it. It was a slow burn. So, this is a 12-issue miniseries. This is the one about Metamorpho, and it's only about his arm. His arm is the only thing that appears. So, I don't know why we haven't seen Metamorpho since the battle. Because he went to the desert with Warlord and Starman, and he only had the one arm. So where is Metamorpho? I don't know. But I like things are moving. It's a lot's going on. King and Fornes have given them all bits of scenes. The major players are really still the two heroes, Starman and Warlord, the Dingbats and Lady Cop. And I want to see more what's going on with the millionaires and the Manhunter and Codename Assassin. But it's gorgeous and it's fun. So next up is First Issue Special 3 with a Metamorpho story by Bob Hany and Ramona Fraden. So, First Issue Special, Volume 1, Number 3, cover date June 1975. Title of the story is Metamorpho, the Elephant Man, the Freak, and the $1 Billion Phantom. Writer Bob Hany, penciler Ramona Fraden, inker Ramona Fraden, editors Murray Boltorf, and a wonderful Metamorpho cover. I love his logo too. Metamorpho has turned his lower body into a car, and he's driving at it, and Sapphire is being menaced by this ghost who is called the Phantom of Washington. This takes place in Washington, D.C., where I grew I grew right up outside of it, so it's kind of like my hometown in a lot of ways. And they do battle in Arlington, and I lived in Arlington. Did I live? No, I had just moved from Arlington. I moved from Arlington a few years. We had lived there in the earlier 70s. I was living in Virginia, though. But that's not that important. And we have this wonderful Metamorpho story. I'm not going to go through the whole synopsis. I'm just going to read the beginning part from the DC fandom page. It's a little too long. Rex Mason and Sapphire Stagg take a vacation into Washington, D.C., where they visit the Lincoln Memorial. From behind the monument's pillars, a phantom steps out and begins zapping security guards with an electrified energy cane. Rex dives after the phantom, but the spirit turns to be into a shadow and disappears. The two race back to Sapphire's father, Simon Stagg, and his loyal valet, Java. They tell them the incident, but Simon thinks Rex is playing a tasteless joke on them. So they're on their little vacation. I'm using the hardcover of the Complete Collected First Issue Edition special, and there's a nice little text piece, The Making of Metamorpho, and talks about his history up to this, because he had his own series before this, and this was kind of like to bring him back. And it's Bob Hany, so it's really wacky, and it's Ramona Fraden art's beautiful. The splash page, which I will post, or I have posted already, shows the Lincoln Memorial. And the ghost looks a little like the Gentleman Ghost, except he's got a green face and he doesn't have a monocle, and he holds his hat in his hand. But they're protesters because it's the mid-70s, so they're people protesting and they're burning stuff there on the mall. Metamorpho puts it out by turning into a combination of water, sodium, and carbon to smother the flames. And then he turns one of his arms into a colander or a net and lifts some people up. And as all these kind of like cartoon hippies wander off, the Washington Monument starts to fall because of the Phantom, and then Rex turns himself into a digging machine and props it back up. And that's when Stagg and Java come to help, and they're, Simon Stagg is a great character design. Metamorpho is a great character design. So is Sapphire, and so is Java. It's Java's a caveman, I guess. I don't remember. I haven't read enough Metamorpho to know where he comes from, but they're talking about they've got a car, they've got a TV in Stagg's car. I guess that was possible back then. And the Phantom has appeared to different presidents: Lincoln, Woodrow Wilson, FDR. So Rex and Sapphire decide to go into the archives. He turns himself into a tricycle and they ride off. And they go into the archives and find Dr. Destine, who is the man who dies and becomes a ghost, talking to Ben Franklin. And he has a weird something. He could destroy the city and a bomb of some sort or magical device. And Rex just follows him, and he realizes in the top of the Capitol, because he sees a picture where the superstructure is being built. They go by the unknown soldier's grave, and they go to Fort Knox, and the ghost melts all the gold. And the ghost is he's just taking his revenge. It's very much a Scooby-Doo story, and the ghost is defeated. It's for no other reason, than the weirdness. But it's just a silly little Metamorpho comic. And that's what they were. That was just a fun kind of comic. I like that they're mixing up the first issue specials. Next one is, I think it's Lady Cop. Let me double check. I mean, we've had Atlas. We've had the Dingbats. We've had Atlas, the Green Team, Metamorpho. Next is Lady Cop, Manhunter, then Dingbats at Danger Street. But the Metamorpho is just silly fun. It could be a 1960s comic. It's Bob Hany, so it's always weird and funny. And her art is so imaginative. And there's a house style for doing Metamorpho back then, and how he kind of like Plastic Man is more now, or when he Plastic Man when he was made big in the 90s when he was in the Justice League instead of an elongated man. So that kind of more cartoony style was fun. But that's issue 3 and issue 3. Next week, issue 4, and that Lady Cop is the main character for those 2 issues. So I'm looking forward to it. Okay, this is going up today on Sunday the 26th. I recorded Tuesday's Opal City Confidential, and I had the wonderful time of Paul Hicks from Dial F for Flanger, the Doom Patrol podcast, and DC OCD was kind enough to come on and talk Starman issue 2. So that will be up Tuesday. Thursday we will do the 2-part Adult Legion story. I can't wait to read that again. And then next week, I'm not sure. I'm hoping to do Stargirl and JSA or something like that, if not FF. So one of the two. But as always, be smart, be safe, be kind to one another, and read some comics.